Let's start.
Hello, good evening. I welcome all our audiences to this IAI3 Edutalk session. Now today our session is going to be a phantasmagorical journey into the world of imagination, visualization, intrigue, and all sorts of creative ideas. So I also welcome our guest for today, Sujata Sabnis. Welcome,
Namaste.
Sujata. Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, thank you for coming to our show.
My
So
pleasure.
IAI3, it stands for the International Association of Industries Institute Interface. So we are an education portal and we have been training students for over 20 years. Our education wing is known as Neeta Training and Consultancy Services. Now, IAI3 EduTalk, they are basically conversations over coffee. They are informal and they have been the vision of our president, Dr. Neeta. We had a few ideas in mind when we started this. One was to showcase the stories of very ordinary people, humanity helping humanity. Some people, they transcended the capabilities of human beings and they came out and they helped other people. So stories of COVID warriors and in general, people who like to help the community. And then on the other hand, we invited very proficient people to come and share the strengths and weaknesses or challenges of the careers that they have chosen so that our young audiences get an idea about different types of careers. We also had people who came and made professions out of skills, sustainable living out of their skills. And lastly, we want to invite our audiences to contact us if they need any kind of help, if they want to study abroad, if they want to know about institutions in India. So we always keep in mind humanity helping humanity. Skills have been made into professions and people are able to come and join us. So I'm Anjali Sanghavi. I'm a soft skills trainer and I'm your host for this evening. Now, Sujata Sabnis, the most beautiful lady I have ever known.
Oh my God. No, please don't say that.
This
Thank
very,
you so
very
much.
sure, of course, it's true. At this very young age, she has authored 4 novels. All right. So the first one is A Silent Whisper, A Twist in Destiny, Songs of Stone, and Blood on the Sands. Varied and different topics. And then she was contacted by the very prolific children's story writer, Mrs. Sudha Murthy, to translate one of her books. And Sujata has done that, and now the book is called Dollar Bahu. And what is the most interesting part for us is to know that how did she do the work of becoming a script writer on the OTT platform. The very popular series Sabka Sai has been written, produced, and adapted to the OTT platform.
No, not produced. Just I'm the script and I'm the story, screenplay, and dialogue.
Oh, all right. So this is not a script. That is the scripting, and production is a different aspect.
Yes.
All right. Do
Yes.
excuse me over there. So she has scripted that series, and it is playing on MX Player right now. All right. So wonderful. So Sujata, we want to hear about your great, in your own words, that you have imagination, inspiration, intrigue. So how do you ideate and how do you start? How did you start your journey as an author? Please tell us.
Yeah, actually, I was working in Indian Express, Pune Indian Express,
Yes.
as a feature writer. I used to work in their magazine called Citizen, and I was editor of a female supplement for women called Ease Express and all that.
Right.
But then I wanted something more. Like this was good stuff, of course, and association with Indian Express has always been good. But I
Yes.
wanted something more. And I always was a very voracious reader. I loved books. So I had a beautiful, interesting plot came in my mind, a murder mystery plot. So I decided, okay, let me try my hand at it. I had no idea whether I'll be able to write well or not. I had no idea. Okay, it
Right,
was a discovery
exactly.
for me also. But the plot was an interesting one, and I think I was able to do a pretty good job of it. Looking
Yes,
back
that's
now,
right. Looking back, of course. And
one
right
of
in
my
the,
first novels, Silent Whispers, which is a psychological thriller. It's a murder mystery.
wow, that's really amazing because your writing is so varied. Yeah,
It is
really.
actually, that is because I don't think in terms. Usually, most of the writers they have certain genres that they write
Right,
in those
right.
essays.
Yes, yes.
I don't. It's for me, whatever story comes in my mind. It depends on that. So, like my second novel is a political thriller. My third novel is a beautiful love story set in Mughal times, and my
Okay.
fourth novel is a murder mystery, which has got a very strong social issue behind it, blood on the sands. So it's
Wow.
all different and it's all varied, and I like it that way. It's exciting.
Of course, of course. One should never get typecast into some kind of a mold. But right in the beginning, how did you choose or why did you choose mass communications as your stream of education, Sujata?
I always, I enjoyed news. I
Yes,
was extremely, aware of I had a lot of political consciousness about that, and I was very aware.
yes,
And I enjoyed writing. I was good at communication, essentially,
yes, yes,
both the spoken, the written. So I thought, this would be good for me. This field would be good for me.
yes.
Which is why I joined MassCom, the Indian Institute of Mass Communication, Delhi.
Okay, that's beautiful. And do tell us a little bit about your first two novels, A Silent Whisper and Twist in Destiny. What are they about? What is the storyline?
So my first novel, as I said, that's a murder mystery. It's a psychological thriller. The plot is really good of that novel. Okay, even if I say so myself,
Of
it's
course.
really good. I wish I had done a better job of writing, but that was that I think that now that I have become a better writer over the
Yes,
years,
yes.
I
More
think that
involved.
now, with
Ye-
experience, you grow. Life also teaches you, adds depth to you. So your
Yes.
writing also gets that depth. But I wish I could have done a better job of that. But the plot was very good. And second was a political thriller, A Twist in Destiny, which actually imagines that in 1947, Pakistan didn't happen and it didn't happen because Nehru came to know a truth, which is a historical fact
Yes,
that Mr. Jinnah he had tuberculosis
yes, yes.
and he was going to die in 1 year, and no one knew about it.
Right.
But someone stole that information and gives it to Nehru, and Nehru decides this is too important. If Jinnah is not there after 1 year, then I should not be agreeing to partition at this point. So he does
Yes,
not
yes.
agree to partition. He says no at the Mountbatten Plan, and then partition doesn't happen. India remains united. And then I've shown in 60 years, 50 years after, in
After.
2000 AD, that is when someone is now trying to get Pakistan. It becomes a thriller, and all. So it is
Yes, yes, that's
a
right.
different concept.
No, but it's actually it's amazing because it's something so unusual because I think we all belong to the same ethnic background. Whether it's
Right.
India, Pakistan, we're the same. It's just that
Absolutely.
the partition.
Anjali, like, I mean, I'm from North India. Okay? I'm from Delhi. So
Yes,
there's so many people who have always used to talk about कि अगर partition नहीं होता तो क्या होता यार? If
yes,
हम लाहौर जा पाते, हमारे एक cricket team होती और like, I mean, so many ifs and buts, right?
yeah,
So
I know.
so I just took that idea and I kind of developed it into a novel.
Yes, that's right. I think that's so unusual and it's a lovely thought. It's beautiful because just
Yeah, I was quite excited when I got the story idea.
wow. Because overnight people had to get a visa to go to the other
Yeah,
side. And
absolutely. It has been trauma for so many people. They're bound to imagine what if. what if this had not happened?
Yes, yes. And our parents have actually been through the,
Right.
ravages of
Exactly.
independence.
Exactly.
Okay, so that must have made really interesting reading. Now, your novel, Songs of Stone, you said that it is based in the Mughal era. And
Yes.
you had to do 1 year of research. So,
Yeah.
apart from the facts, I'm sure in the author's mind, the beliefs of the people of that era, the costumes, the situation, what was happening in the Mughal era, how people were treated, and who was the ruling class, and that is natural. So I'm sure for you, it's not just documenting resources, but it must be making a storyline, characterization, so many things. Please tell us
Oh,
about it.
absolutely. Like, see, first, when the story strikes you, okay, that is a plot. At least that's how it works for me.
Yeah.
The idea comes, the story strikes you, the essential plot. After that, you have to develop everything. You have to develop the characters, you have to develop the whole storyline. Then you have to do in especially in
Yeah.
historical fiction, you have to do a lot of research. The
Yes.
background research has to be so impeccable that the reader has to, he should feel as he or she should feel that he's living in that era. So even
Yes.
the smallest details matter. Like I can tell you something as small as what kind of food was eaten in harem to what kind of food was eaten by very poor people over
Yes.
there. What were their lifestyle? I can tell you lifestyles of both, because
Yes.
what I researched on. Essentially, the story. It is a love story of a very ordinary couple,
Right.
uh, uh, who like basically the whole point is that even an ordinary couple can have a love story as beautiful as that of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz. That is the
Yes.
whole concept behind it. So
Wow.
it is a beautiful love story and lots of ups and downs, and the making of Taj Mahal is the backdrop of it all. There is also Jahangir's harem and the love story of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz. It's all mixed up. But it is, ultimately when you when you finish reading it, it will be the characters of Jagat and Nilofer, my main characters, and their love story. That is
Okay.
going to stay with you because it is
Wow.
so beautiful. I love it. I
Sujata,
love
it's
it.
really wonderful for us to know that how does an author actually put passion? You build up the heightened excitement of all the goings on in that story, and then there is a climax, a denouement, and then there is an anticlimax. Finally,
Yeah.
the couple are together. So there's so much going on. It has to come to a logical end. But how do
Yes.
you do all that, Sujata? How to put it on paper?
Okay, that is the tough part. Okay, Anjali, I'll tell you always.
Yes.
When the I have always been saying this. When the plot comes to you, it is like a magical moment. Okay, I just like it's like I dance around. It's amazing. And then after that, okay, after all that excitement subsides, that is when the hard work begins.
Yes, yes,
Once that idea is exciting like hell, but now how do I transform it into a proper novel with that kind
exactly.
of a depth and characters and storyline? That is where the hard work comes in. So you start with getting a basic idea of your characters. You allow yourself some time so that they can start talking to you. Characters
Yeah,
talk to you, they tell
exactly.
you, "Hey,
Yes,
this is how I am, this is how I'll be talking, this is what I'll be doing." They start, but the minute they start talking to you, that is when I started doing my research in this novel, especially because it needed a lot of research. It was historical fiction, right? I had to read about harems, I had to read about lifestyles of the Mughals as well as the common people, since my Jagat and Nilofer are common people.
yes,
So
yes,
I had to do extensive research of those times. And then once all that is absorbed in your mind, the story takes shape because your mind is unconsciously absorbing all those facts, and
yeah,
somehow it is
of course, exactly.
creating a story. But even after doing that, it is the main thing is like when you start writing it, now that is a tough part. That needs a lot of discipline. It cannot happen कि ओ जब मैं मुझको मूड करेगा तब मैं लिखूंगी. Doesn't work that way.
Oh,
You're
yes,
never going to finish a novel if you know you could wait for it.
exactly,
You have to
exactly.
you have to say, okay, I'm going to, every day I'm going to write for so many hours or whatever, so many words I'm going to write, something like that. Even if it is not anything great, even if I delete it tomorrow, I'll still write. That's how I do it.
Yes,
I've got
that's
my
right.
set times and I write in those, and I make it a point. Once I start writing a novel, I make it a point to write every day.
Sure, I'm sure at
Only
the
then you can finish a novel, actually.
and you finished 4. And so at the end of the day, it's hard work and it's discipline, right?
It takes a lot
And
of
then,
self-discipline, lot of self-discipline.
wow.
That is why writing a novel is such a lonely art, no? Because
Yes, I know.
it's just you and your computer screen and your mind and the words in your mind and your characters. That's all. That's all you have.
That's all. And normally they say people remember characters. They may not remember the name of the story, but they remember the
Absolutely.
people in it.
Absolutely. I
And
agree.
for you to get into the mindset of the character, it must be so
Oh, yeah.
special.
Oh,
Yeah?
yes. Absolutely. It's only when you love your characters, no, yourself, at least love in the sense you understand your characters. You don't have to love. Some characters are great,
Yeah,
right?
of course. Yeah.
So you may not love them, but if you are able to empathize with them, only then you can write how as honest as the character and make that character come alive.
Alive. That's right. Exactly. And a book lasts for centuries, so it goes on for the generations to come. So that's
Yeah.
beautiful. So it has been like a pendulum, like a passionate love story. And then the
Yeah.
pendulum went to a spine chilling thriller, Blood on
Yes.
the Sands.
Blood on the
and,
sands. Yeah.
and then you said that you had to go to the Ran of Kutch to do research. Please tell
Yes.
us about that story.
It This is a story based on a social issue. Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first thought about it, when I first thought about this story, but I just sat up. I just sat up when the idea first came to me. And after that point, I was crying for 10 minutes
Oh my.
because the story moved me so much. Like usually I dance around, when I get the story idea or thing.
Yeah.
This story, I was crying for 10 minutes. Like I had tears.
Tears running down. Yeah.
Yes, because the s- the pain of the main character Mankor, it moved me like anything, and that is because I cried like
Yeah.
crazy. That's how I knew I had a strong concept and I had to do something about it.
Yes.
I have to. So then I was wondering, where should I, in which part of India I should put this story? And I chose
Yeah.
Run of Kutch
Yes.
because of the visual, because the absolutely stunning visual beauty
Yes.
of that, and because it is not written, it's not been written so often.
Okay.
I chose that, and that absolutely turned out to be a something like a gift from God. That fact that I went to Run of Kutch, because it added so much to my story. It added layers to my story I didn't know I had. Like I would be able to add, and yeah, like that was, so that's why Run of Kutch. And then actually I wrote a screenplay with this story first, and that has been sold to a producer. I'm still awaiting the movie has not been produced yet, so I'm
Yes.
awaiting that. But in the meanwhile, I said, "Okay, let me write a novel with it," which is why this novel, Blood on the Sands.
Oh, how lovely.
It's a it's a shocking story, and it's going to move you. It's going to
Yes.
make you. I hope all this is because I'm
Yeah.
hoping,
Like, of course. Yes.
but it's going to make you think. It's going to make you feel about a lot of things, which about the main issue I'm talking about over here.
That's right. That's right. And it's wonderful for a book to get translated into a movie because the outreach is a larger one,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
that's so congratulations over there.
Thank you.
And then Sujata, please tell us about the Dollar Bahu, which you translated for Mrs. Sudha
Oh,
Murthy.
Dollar Bahu, Sudha Murthy ji, she got in touch with me and that they wanted, this was quite a few years ago.
Yes.
So I think nearly 15, 16 years ago, 17 years ago, that at that time her book, her Dollar Bahu had come in Hindi, and they wanted it in English for international edition. They wanted to take
Yes.
it abroad also. That's when I did the translation from Hindi to English, and it was a pleasure meeting Sudhaji. I'll tell you what, that is a, if you have time, I'll just tell, because that's a very
Oh,
sweet
we
episode.
have all the time in the world.
So when Sudhaji had come here, and so I went to meet her,
Yes,
and it's Sudha Murthy, right?
yes,
It's Infosys's.
yes, like a miracle. Meeting her is a miracle,
So
really.
I'm on my best. This thing, I'm wearing my best sari and I'm wearing my solitaire
Yeah.
jewelry and all that. I'm going to meet her, and there is this lady. She is in a cotton sari. She has a gajra in her hair, and she has these lovely moti ke this thing, solid,
Kurus.
not solitaires,
Yes,
but
yes,
moti ke
yes.
jo hote hain na,
Yeah, yeah.
earrings, ear tops.
Yes.
She has those, and I'm telling you, oh my God, it was
How
amazing.
nice. How nice.
To
How nice.
see her, feel her simplicity is a lesson in itself.
In itself,
Seriously, it
exactly.
is.
Yes, I know. She is a intellectual giant, like
She
her.
is such a simple person. It's unbelievable. She made me feel, oh God, how did I wear such a? It took so much. She's amazing. She was amazing.
Yes.
Her down to earthness is like unbelievable.
Wow. It must be such a out of this world experience to meet a lovely personality like her,
Who's so
isn't it?
simple? Who's so
So simple.
simple?
So simple.
She teaches you priorities of life. What is
Yeah,
important in life? What is
right.
not?
Exactly. So we just, need to focus on our skills rather than the outward appearance. And so, what was the story about the Dollar Bahu?
Dollar Bahu is about two, like a girl who comes from USA. Like
Yes.
there is a comparison of two bahus. One is an
Okay.
Indian bahu and one is one USA bahu. Okay, how Indian families is to give so much importance to the dollar bahu because she gets, she earns in dollars and she gets all those American gifts. This was nearly
It
older.
was a
This is the older novel. Where
yes, yes,
it was a
yes,
big thing.
yes.
Even then, it was a big thing. Someone who's staying in USA and who's coming here. It was a big thing. So this, I think, that is what Sudha ji has written. It's a story of a family where the Indian Bahu is less respected and less loved than the American dollar Bahu.
American Bahu. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, there was a TV serial called Dollar Bahu.
Yes, there was. I think
Yeah.
on Z. I'm not sure, but I think it was on Z.
Okay, lovely. And now the most exciting part for us is that, and I'm sorry, I thought the production was the same as the
No,
writing
no
and
problem.
scripting. Please tell us that how does one write a script for an OTT platform? Or, I mean,
Or any kind of a, yeah.
yeah,
See, there is a big difference in how you write for novels and how you write uh, for any kind of visual, whether it's TV or whether it's OTT.
yes,
It's a visual writing, right? So that is the first thing you have to learn. Like
okay,
in a novel, I'll give you a small example of it. Difference between writing
yes,
writing and visual writing.
yes,
Like for a novel writing, I if I want to say ki, oh, she's such a say she's an evil person, let's put it that way. She's
yes,
an
yes,
evil person.
yes, correct.
I can just write that. Okay, I can say, oh, she was evil and she was this or she was sarcastic. Oh, jo bhi mujhe karna hai, I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
just put two lines. It is, I would be considered a bad writer if I use this kind of a dialogues in a visual.
yes,
I have to express the character. I have to bring out the character by showing visually. So I have to think of scenes where I show how and why the character behaves in a wicked way, so that the viewer assumes, oh, acha, acha, ye to bahut achhi nahi hai ye ladki. She's not good. You
yeah,
understand what
yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly. Yes, I know. Wow.
Yeah, it is visually the character has to be interpreted or anything. So it's a visual writing, and that it itself takes it's a whole learning
Yes,
process.
that's right. It's a
It's a different
completely,
one. Yeah.
yes, different
You
aspect.
can use words to just describe something. Here you
Sure.
have to think of situations or scenes which will automatically make the viewer conclude that this is the characteristic of this character, or
That's right.
whatever else, whoever else you want to express.
And how did the, Sabka Sai, how did it take birth and how
Uh,
did it,
so, like this is the producer. They approached me because they knew me earlier also. We have done work together. So they
Yes.
approached me, and this is a commission. This was not my story idea. आपका सही.
Fine, yeah.
This was not my concept. It was
Okay.
commissioned project. Okay?
Right, right.
And then of course we all see when it comes to OTT or any kind of OTT or even movies or even serials, it's a very there's a lot of collective effort over here, unlike a novel. There are a lot of people who are going to come together, and we are going to like brainstorm, and we are going to come up with ideas. So that is what happened. Okay, like concepts were discussed, and then we decided on this concept. A particular storyline was decided, and then it's my job, of course, to develop the story, develop characters,
Yes.
develop the particular then screenplay and the dialogues. All this comes one after. It's in a
Right.
sequence kind of a thing. But first comes the concept, the story ideas.
So did you have to actually research a little bit about Sai Baba and how he spent his time? Or maybe
Yes,
yes,
I did a lot of research.
yes,
And I also
yes.
had a background of it, because my mother was a very avid Sai Baba
Bhakt,
Bhakt.
Bhakt, yes.
She was also part of. She was the chief singer of his bhajan mandali of the Delhi Sai Baba Bhajan Mandali. So
Fantastic.
I've grown up hearing stories of Sai Baba and this thing. So that background was there already.
Yes,
But of
that's
course,
right.
I had to do much more additional research and
But isn't it amazing how the work has come to you? Because you were
everything.
already in it so much. That's really fantastic. And asking your question in the lighter vein, because once I had heard somebody asking a question to an author that once one of the protagonists is murdered,
Ah.
do you feel like murdering some more?
Murdering some more.
Protagonists, of course, not people.
Usually, okay, I know it's a thing, but I'll just take it more seriously than that.
Yes,
That
yes.
usually, especially in a murder mystery is not done on a whim, on the this thing. You will set up a storyline in your mind. There's a
Yeah,
definite storyline in your mind, so you cannot just whimsically kill here and there. Murder mystery, more than anything else, has to be based on logic.
yeah,
It cannot be illogical, it has to be, because you have in a murder mystery, you have to give proper clues also
yeah.
to the reader,
Correct.
and yet manage to surprise in the end. So it has to be based on a lot of logic, so you can't just randomly kill someone. But if you're asking me, are there some characters who I wish I could kill, it is the opposite actually. Sometimes what happens is you fall so much in love with your characters, like in Blood on the Sands. Okay, there's this one character I love, Ranu.
Now on the sense.
I love that thing. So I don't I didn't want to write the end, because something bad is going to happen to her if I write
Yes,
the end.
yes.
So I didn't want to write the end. For 2 months I didn't write that one last chapter.
I know. You get so emotionally
You
entangled
get
with
so
them, isn't it?
you
Yes.
just don't want, because other, like you don't want to do that to your character. You love your character so much.
So much.
Or even this thing, Songs of Stone, when I wrote, it's a there is a tragedy which happens.
Yes.
I was crying when
Oh.
I wrote that. I was crying.
And
I
that's that's the I think main direction which great art takes. It's to move emotionally the reader or the
Yeah.
person who watches, some kind of impact, a change in their lives. So if you
Right.
could achieve that, Sujata, hats off to you. Really.
I have just tried my
Jack
best.
and
And the thing is, I have enjoyed myself so much while doing it. So
Yeah, of course.
I've
Of
had
course.
it's great fun. Like, I mean, when I'm into it, when I'm writing and all that, it is so much fun. I can't tell you.
Wow. And I'm sure that every time you launch a new novel, the feeling must be similar, like giving birth to a baby,
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't it? And
Mera bacha is my child. I have to see
exactly.
him every day. It does well.
Yes, it's an extension of
People
your own.
appreciate for how beautiful it is.
Sure, of course. And just tell us a little bit about the admin part, designing the cover, the publishers, the editing.
That all usually the publisher does.
Yeah.
And of course, they ask you, are you okay with this? They'll give you saying, ki, yeah, China, otherwise, would you prefer this? And, I mean, like, it is done by the publisher, but like you, of course, you give your inputs and you give your opinion about it.
Okay,
But all
lovely.
this production part is handled by the publisher.
Publisher. And do
But
tell us.
I'll give a tip to all the writers over there who are,
Yes, yes.
before sending to your publisher, if you have written a book or a novel or something, get it edited independently. By edited and formatted independently by independent editors, because
Okay.
publishers will expect it, and definitely it will be appreciated. I mean, you should do
Yes.
that. It's
Yes.
professional to do that.
Okay. So the book is absolutely ready to go for production.
There's some like, yes, no. A
Not that.
publisher also will do his own editing, सब कुछ होगा. But when you send your product, it has to be in a professional format, which is why you have to get it edited and you have to get it formatted first, and only then send it.
Okay. Okay. That's yeah. I'm sure our viewers will be happy to hear that. Now, would you like to please tell us about your future project?
Okay, now future is that I've started. I'm doing research on a fantasy love story. Fantasy love story, the neo mythology, and I
Yes.
can't tell you how scared I am, because I have never written a fantasy story before. And a fantasy story is a whole challenge of its own, okay? Because like in Songs of Stone also, I had to do a lot of research.
Yeah.
But it was still based on something which existed. Like there are books existing on Mughal era and all that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
In fantasy love story, you have to create a whole world. It is not just the characters or the storyline you create. You create a whole world. It's a world building which has to be done. And I can't tell you how scared I am of it. But the story is beautiful. It is very close to my heart.
Yes.
It's a love story, and it is really very close to my heart. So
lovely, Sujata. And
I do a decent job of it.
It's your own. It's your own creation. It has to be.
Trust me, like even if it's your own creation, I don't know a single creator who doesn't get absolutely panicked, and I thought totally get panicked.
Sure,
I won't be able to do a good job. I'll make a hash of it. Sector.
Somewhere it might be a good thing to have a little bit of nervous energy, because then it translates into better work sometimes, I feel.
Maybe, yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, it does. It does. Yes. But it also takes a lot of, you need also a lot of perseverance then to finish something. But it's a beautiful love story with characters I really am close to. I'm very,
yeah, I'm sure.
I love these characters.
Yeah, that's right.
Couple, and I just hope I'm able to do a good job of it.
Of course you will.
Wish me luck.
I wish you all the luck and blessings the universe can give you, and from my side also, best wishes to you, Sujata.
Thank you so much.
And then, have you given a title to your forthcoming book?
Nothing.
Not yet. Okay. Great.
It's just a working title, but otherwise,
that's fine. And most of your stories are located in India so far?
Oh, absolutely. All of them.
Yeah, fine. Great.
All of them.
Yeah, wonderful. So, Sujata, and it's been so enlightening to hear about how you actually ideate and put it on paper and make the reader believe that this is what the character's feeling, and so many beliefs of the time. It's just so beautiful talking. So, one last question is that for you, looking stunningly beautiful, it must must have been an ongoing preoccupation of the pandemic. It's something that's there all the time. So how do you always look so nice, so beautiful?
Okay. I take very good care of essentially my diet. I work out, of course, thrice a week. I take care of my skin, I take care of my hair, and that's it. I don't do anything else. But if you do just this, I think, I think if you have some kind of a passion in life, that which is going to keep your mind young.
Yes, yes. It
I think
drives
that's
you.
all you need, honestly.
That's right. It drives you to achieve something, and
Yeah.
each cell in your body is alive and living.
Yeah, no, and like
Isn't
such
it?
exciting things are happening in the world, in the new technology and all that, which is happening. Uh, it's so exciting to hear about this new world.
Exactly. In fact, it has taught us a lot, the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything went digital, and we learned a lot, isn't it?
absolutely, absolutely. Ours is a very lucky generation. We saw the simple times also of,
Yes,
like just
yes.
Chitrahar and all that. And
Oh,
we are
yes.
seeing today's times also. So
That's
ours is the
right.
luckiest generation, really.
And when you come on a platform and it gets streamed all over the world, we could have never imagined something like that.
So many things we could have
Really.
never imagined, and we are seeing it. How lucky is that? How wonderful! And
Yes.
more interesting things are happening. Like I'm aware of how these young people know what they're doing, what they're innovating. Fantastic things are going on in the world. So much to learn, so much
Yes.
to understand.
Oh, yes. In fact, young people, they're kind of, uh, in a very positive way, they're go-getters, they're achievers. They live in a different world.
I
You
tell
know,
you, today's
they,
generation is amazing, Anjali. Like it's like the kind of the things they are doing, the kind of the things they're thinking about. Like I'll just, if you have 2 minutes, I'll give you an example of of my daughter. She just went on she just come back from a trek. She went on to Meghalaya, and there is
oh,
this guy called Varun. He takes them to all the unusual places in Meghalaya, like in a crevice or on a cliff, in a secret forest, and there they do yoga and they do meditation, and that is the whole idea of the trek.
oh, wow. Imagine you connect with the
How
nature and
to the
Almighty
nature,
God.
absolutely, the kind of a amazing places he takes them to, right in the depth of the nature, and he makes them connect themselves to their selves.
Yes, yes. This,
Who would have thought in our times all these things
exactly.
happening?
In our
Like
times,
our
I think,
generation never did, right? This generation does all these things.
I
Apart from
think,
being working at their profession and everything, they're doing these things also.
yes.
Amazing.
And it's so unusual to do yoga in far away in the
I know, right?
regions of Assam.
I
Wow.
just loved the idea. Just loved it.
And it's so much more better than them, just watching TV all day long, to be out in
Yeah,
the nature like that. So, so beautiful. So
absolutely.
lovely. Well, Sujata, I hope that you will come on to our show many, many times in future. And
I enjoy talking to you.
I thank you. I wish you luck for your forthcoming novel
Thank
as
you
well.
so much. I need it.
And as well as all the projects that you're into for the benefit of us and for the reading public and
Thank you
watching
so
public.
much. I
Thank
thank you
you
so
for
much.
coming. Thank you for coming,
Really
Sujata.
appreciate it.
And see you
Bye.
again, dear. Thank you. Bye
See
bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye bye, Sujata. See you. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.